Here's a freestanding curved staircase with a flare. The bottom four treads are straight. The rest of it's curved. It's got a finished underside, curved handrails, curved stringers. Okay, we begin with a 2D layout. The 2D layout includes a few measurements just to show you a couple things. The one major thing is I want to show you is that the outside run, 391.8, remains constant even through the straight section, so the stair, and the inside run is constant completely from the top to the bottom, including all the way down to the first treads, the voluted tread. Okay, from here we need to modify the 2D layout to be able to use our stair makers 2D to 3D stair utilities. So what we're doing here is we're adding an extra run's worth at the top and an extra run's worth at the top inside and at the bottom so that we can make the stringers and the handrails extend past the stair. For now, to be able to build the treads and risers, we will be using this tool right here, and we're going to build a 14 riser stair at 2800. That's 200 per rise, just for simple math. Okay, so the first tread is added, and as you let's notice this. Notice that the reversed face, that the face that we use for the first tread has reversed. Second tread, same thing happens. When we do all the treads, they all pretty much get reversed. And after we've done that, we're going to take a copy of all the treads and risers by highlighting them all, or picking all of them, and then making a union, but a copy, and that gives us a cutter that we're going to be using to create the sawtooth face for the inside stringer and do the routing of the other stringer, of the house stringer. So for now, we're going to go back and see how we actually do this process. I've got this in another SketchUp model to start with. Here we go. Now, what you do with the model, again, we run these, press OK, and then we need to use the 3D model, but it's asking us to do some things. So we'll select an edge. I've also got this turned on to a hotkey. For me, it's F3, and the purpose of that is so that we can here's the tread, so that we can be a little more quick at it. Now it's telling me that I need exactly one face. Okay, well that's because this tread is broken up into two. So temporarily, let's eliminate this line and do it. Here we go. And there is the first tread. Okay. Now what we're going to do is do the second tread. So let's hide these. Put this line back in. That was temporarily removed. Pick the second one. Notice that the face reverses. And let's do the top. You can pick these in either order. You can pick the face first and then the edge, or the edge and then the face, doesn't matter. The top, it is going to understand that the 14th tread is actually a nosing, not because there's only 13 treads. So we're going to type in 14, and it understands. We can do them in any order, doesn't really matter. You just have to remember what number you're on. Okay, thank you. Let's go back. So that produces all of what we have here. Now let's move on to the 2D paths. This is another area that I'm going to show you what I do. We're going to start off with this face right here and use the offset tool. And because of that, we're going to have to add a little extra on the front, top, and the bottom of the stair so that the offset tool doesn't mess up. Let's move to it, and here we go. So the first key bits is that we want to end up gluing all of these outside edges together, which we can't do while these pieces are in. Plus the offset tool requires one face. So we're going to have to get rid of all of these. So how we're going to do that is we're going to take a copy of this to start with, and then I can erase all of these pieces inside and erase the parts that we don't need on the outside. Okay, once we've got, well, yeah, let's take a copy of that. Sorry, getting a bit ahead of myself. Now what we want to do is we want to make sure that we can erase the parts that we want. We've broken these off, so these are continuous, so a triple click joins them together, and we can use the glue edges. Now that we've glued all the edges together, we can get rid of these. And we're going to move these back into place. Now this should complete. There we go. Okay, now that we've got this, again, if I remove this, it's going to create a, no, it shouldn't now. Now that we've glued these edges together and it's part of a curve, SketchUp won't join these together. It leaves these separated, which is what we're looking for. So we can get rid of these now too. So let's start with the offset. Now for our stringer, we're going to use a 60 millimeter stringer wide on the inside and a 54 on the outside. The reason for that is what I generally do building stringers is I'm going to use 5 layers of 3/8 spruce and 2 layers of 1/4 inch finished plywood, good one side like oak or whatever on the inside, both sides, but only one side, only on the inside of the outside stringer. So that being said, let's look at an offset. Now, what is neat is that if you start off offsetting from this edge, then it will be fairly darn accurate. So we want to go to the center of the stringer. So I can type in. Now you see the way the edges at the ends kind of mess up. That's why we added that extra amount of material to eliminate that. Now I can type in my 30 millimeters, and there we have it. That is the inside stringer run. Now what makes life easy here is that little spot right there and this little spot right here. We can delete those and then triple click on this part and clean it up. It's that fast. The outside one, we're going to go with an extra 17 millimeters because we want to have the treads rabbited into the stringer by 10 millimeters. So 10 plus 17 is 27, which is exactly half a 54 wide stringer. So let's do it. So this one, we want to type in 17. And we can do the same little bit. We can go to the front and we can go to the top part, delete those bits out of there, triple click on that, clean it up. There's your stringer lines. In addition to that, let's do our outside curved wall. Again, we do the same type of an idea. It's an offset. So we have 17 plus half the thickness of the stringer, which is 54 divided by 2 is 27. That's 44 millimeters. So the inside will be 44 and the outside will be 144. We'll go with 100 millimeters for the wall, just for easy math. So let's do it first, 144. And let's do it again. $44. Now, at this point, what we want to do is we're going to finish the wall. And let's finish it here. It doesn't. And then I'm going to delete these two parts out. And then we're going to go to the opposite top of the stair. Whoops. No, let's tag it. What I've got to do here is the top of the stair. There we go. The top of the stair is actually here. There's your opening. We added this extra tread in here. We don't want that in the wall. So we're going to start off by finishing this. Delete these pieces. Join this temporarily. Triple click and delete. Clean that up. We also want to add 20 millimeters for the top riser. You can add what you want. I want to add 20. Now, at this point, we can get rid of our guide. I want to glue these pieces together. That's good. And I think I'm going to do the same thing here. This just makes it easier when you to have them glued together, or you have to go back in and clean up, erase extra edges when we push pull. So our total rise is 2800 millimeters. So now what I want to do is I'm going to build the wall by push pulling it up 2800 millimeters. By gluing those together to form a curve, what we ended up with is a smooth finished wall. Okay, let's go back to our main model. Here's our wall. Now we're going to look at our twisted paths, and we're going to go with the center of the stringer. The center of the stringer, and we're going to create these paths right here for your stringer paths. Then we're going to create a stringer. Okay, the stringer is going to look like this. Now this stringer here is oversized. It's gone one extra tread or run's worth at the top and the bottom, so that we can clean up the front edges later. Okay, so let's look at the underside path as well, and the underside's going to be these lines, which came from these edges, this inside edge right here and the one across from it to finish the underside. And we're going to end up with this piece. Let's go back to our other models, and we're going to go to the stringer SKP layer. Here we go. So we start off with these two paths, and they are they can be exploded just to make it a little easier for what we're doing right now. There are one extra run at the top, one extra run at the bottom. So let's adjust our model. Now to make this tool work, we're going to change this to 16 risers, and we're going to add 400, two risers, so 3200 millimeters. Just easy math right now for that part. Now, what we're also going to be doing is we're also going to be looking at the height. And it's not a rail, it's actually a stringer, and the stringer is actually going lower. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to put in a minus 150 and create it. Oh, it started at the top and worked its way to the bottom. It's backwards. Okay, so get rid of it. Reverse path? No. Okay, that's the way we want it. And we're going to do the same with the other one. And it will, because we've used the offset tool, it goes like clockwise all the way around. So we're going to have to change this one, I'm pretty sure. There we go. So here, that one have to change this here to minus 230. I've done the math on this already, I just know. Okay, here we go. So at this moment, I can take these two parts and just get rid of them. I don't need them anymore. I've got my full path now for my stringer. And what we can do is explode these. And let's create the stringers. So we're going to use the extruded handrail piece and pick the 54 by 400 for the outside stringer. And we're going to pick the other one, 60 by 300 for the cut stringer. So there is the center lines, and we could get rid of these two because we don't need them anymore. And here are our completed solid. This is the key bit. There's a volume. There's a volume. That means that they're solids, and now that means we can use our solid tools. So let's bring in our cutter. Now, here, what we're doing is, remember earlier what we talked about, is we wanted to highlight all the treads and risers and create a union. The beauty of that is that we have one cutter and that we're going to use for subtracting. So now that we pick this and then we pick this second, we can now right click on it, pick solid tools, and pick subtract, and it has now cut our or routed our stringer for us. The other important thing is that it remains a solid. Okay, so I also have this one, and that's why I made a second copy of the cutter, so I can move it into place, snap it into here, pick it number one, pick this number two, right click, solid, subtract. And now what it's done is it's made your cut stringer. We just have to lop off some of the pieces here. So that being the case, we go into here, triple click on each little cut off, and delete them out. Nope, not that one. Okay, so they're all deleted out. Now I've also made a few extra cutters, and I'm going to turn them on. Now what these cutters are for is to cut the stringer in front of the at the floor and at the front. So we can do the same thing here. Pick this as number one, pick this as number two, right click and go to solid tools and subtract. And it's cut our stringer the way we want it. So this one here, do the same thing. And we're going to pick solids and subtract. Now we're going to delete this little front piece off. Oh, we can pull this up a bit. I've done the same thing at the top of the stair. What I wanted to have happening here is this part, this finished part, to come up 3/8 of an inch to allow for carpeting. And what I wanted to do is chop the stringer off. If we wanted the stair or the stringer to continue, we could change that and bring the bottom of the cutter up to the bottom where the riser board is, and it would cut it off nicely there too. But for now, this is good enough. Okay, so there is our routed stringer. Now we're going to go to this side, do the same thing. Solid tools, subtract. And there's that side. So that's how you create or finish off your stringers. Okay, let's go back to the main model. So we started with this, and we went and created our machine stringers. Now let's do our handrail. So what we want to do is create a handrail. So we follow the same process as we just did with the machine stringers, except instead of choosing the stringer, we would be choosing from the extruded path the classic handrail. And it would create the handrail for the whole length. So we can choose that right now. Okay. You can see it created it the whole length, and we just lopped off the front and the back of it, just like we did. Okay, I'll get rid of it for now. It just lopped it. We just cut it to where we wanted it to go. Okay, so having shown all of this, let's go to the painted wall. Add in the stringers. Add in the underside. Add in the treads and risers. Add in the high end rail. We are complete. Thank you very much for watching. Bye now.